Good morning, good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at XRP and the Sigma coin. So XRP's 3-day is still giving us the green indicator. Nothing has major change. This candle will close and start up a new one here on the 13th. So we're actually just starting this new candle now as of today. So we've closed all of them on the 3-day here. And now this is our new start candle that's just brand new, and it's just beginning its journey. So zooming in on our indicators at this point, continuation towards the 50-yard line. There's two things that happen at this 50-yard line here, this white line, is that we either reject and roll over again, or we go through. And in going through the 50-yard line tends to be your explosive price action here on the overall indicator. So we have this top one telling us that basically through the now through the 13th, probably the 13th through the 16th should be the big crossover window. And of course, all the riddlers are telling us the 15th is the big day. So we will see how that plays. Our main indicator that we're utilizing for trend is separating. So we have the green line moving away from the white line. You can see here when we take it off the log, you can see how it's getting a little bit further away here, which is wonderful. And that's good. So we want to see that type of behavior. And so far, this guy is above the 50-yard line. Sure, it's coming back down to it, but that's a good potential bounce area that you can see playing in here. Larger overall structure at this point. Massive creek that we played out here on our Wyckoff distribution. First bull flag test. And of course, we're sitting right at the -1 deviations. So we had just been following along this -2 the whole way down. And now we are moving up to 65% away from this white line. So that's basically the quick check-in there on the macro. And we zoom in the micro, just kind of a lot of chop, right? So we have our invalidation level, nothing's changed. Here's our 4-hour chart with the range high being at $1.56. I'm sorry, $1.96 we don't want to go below before we invalidate this overall move. Potential WXYZ correction with the wave 1, wave 2, higher lows being set, and now we just want to see a breakout impulse. So couple thoughts are, between the bulls and bear case, bullish case would be that this is a continuation and we clear this 2.36 level here, and then we get up to the top of this wave 5, and in doing so we end up having then a correction back down to close the inefficiencies, right? So this would be our ABC on the other side. So alternatively, if this is in fact not the 5-way move and we end up losing this as a impulsive structure, and we end up doing just a wave 1, an A, B, and then a C leg, and that's all we get. This is then going to be a continuation lower, and this would occur in a 5-wave move to the downside. So in this scenario where we end up doing the breakdown potential, this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave potential count down. We would then move back up for a retrace and then a continuation lower for this breakdown, right? And in this scenario here, we would at minimum have a retrace back up. So I'm thinking 228-ish would be probably the area of interest that we need to watch. So in both scenarios, up is the next trade. So we should be expecting in a corrective structure breakdown, at least a pullback up to 228. If we cannot clear 228 and continue onward, well then, yes, we're going to continue lower. And you may want to de-risk at that point and avoid this $1.96 level. But if we end up going the other direction where we end up having a impulsive structure and we clear past 228 and even past 242, well then our next stop should be somewhere in the 266 range based off this inverted fib dragged out structure being fairly reactive at quite a few levels. So that is ultimately the micro time frame component view of the next trade. So you can expect at least an idea that we would possibly move back up to here, which would be a good 8% run. So in both scenarios. So that's basically the micro time frames, how I'm looking at the market. Big next area for watching for me is 228. Both scenarios would ultimately lead to that setup. And then, of course, if we can continue onward, we would go from there. But our overall macro indicator is saying go for it. You're good to go so far. I mean, you can see, again, it can give you some wrong footing back here in these middle chop zones where there's a lot of back and forth. But for the most part, you would catch a majority of the move, put your stop losses in, and then exit. Not be in the price action, grab the majority of the move, exit, miss all that, get wrong-footed here with stop losses, but then reaccumulate down here at a lower price when you get stopped out, right back in again, and then off you go. So it's fairly, again, this is a longer swing trade tool. We're looking for this for weeks, months is the setup in the trade. And so right now the anticipation is that this is bullish, and with all three indicators identifying it, so I'm ultimately leaning towards this structure where we continue on and do an impulse out of here. So all right, so that's the major macro on that. And then we have macro and minor, and then Sigma, same story. Look, it's telling us another indicator, right? So here's Sigma off the lows with an impulsive structure, a corrective back test of the prior level that we have over here, reclaims, and now it's already starting to work in advance on its next levels. So the 4 hours is a little overdone right now, but if we can hold sideways on the 4 hour, that'd be great. Daily, I believe, is coming back down, and possibly continuing on another move higher as these begin to start to cross. And the 3-day, I think, is still got plenty of room to run. So yeah, definitely bull flags forming on the lows here for Sigma. So Sigma's still looking like it's working on building a structure to break out of here. XRP on the minor time frames, I'm leaning towards bullish because of the fact that we're holding support on this VWAP. We have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. We have not crossed 4 above wave 1 yet, and thus we can actually impulse out of here before we do a back test. And then finally, the macro view is telling us that we are still bullish. And so until this guy changes or we start seeing something on the micro time frames, I'm not personally worried. So one more thing to just quickly point out here. I zoom in on the shorter daily time frames. As you can see, it's nowhere near as consistent of what we were looking for. But as of right now, even the daily is telling us that we are still good. We do have some weakness on both of these, but they have not gone super negative, especially with this curve to the upside starting here, and this one still being above that white line. So something just to keep in mind, but as of right now, the daily has not told us that there's an issue, but even if it does, it doesn't necessarily mean instant doom and gloom. So you can see how this would run here, and then it doesn't tell you until you have a big smackdown right there that you have a larger problem, right? And we know we're moving into a bullish overall view because we made it to the top of the range, right? Over here is where we were at the top. None of these made it to the top. So this is definitely something different. This is feeling very impulsive, and I am leaning towards the bullish view even on the daily time frame. But our base case is the 3-day that we use for XRP. So, all right, guys, hopefully that's helpful, and we will check in tomorrow.